when if a sister's wali is abusive, how does she proceed to get married? If a sister's wali, what does that mean? Also, the person that's going to marry her off is abusive. Well, you see, I don't believe a wali is necessary. Okay, there isn't a single hadith that is categorically sahih that a woman requires a wali to get married. And that is the teaching of Imam Abu Hanifa. That is also, according to some understandings, the teaching of Imam Malik. That is what I go by. That there is nothing sahih to do with there must be a wali, and this was simply a condition of perfection. It's what Ibn Rushd says. This is a shartu kamal, not a shartu sihha, not a condition of validity. Right, the Lion of Deoband never laughed so much. The Lion of Deoband. Who was the lion? Oh, Sheikh Yasir. Anthony Gonzalez. You just gave so many dads a heart attack right now. No, I don't think so. Look, you know this wali thing about getting married. A wali is not... Somebody actually seriously calling me. What the hell is... Right, so this thing about wali having... You see, do you need a wali to get married? I don't believe you do. That said, let me add to that, because that's a useful point. Look, you've given people a heart attack. I don't intend to give them a heart attack. That's not my objective. But we need to kind of ease up. We need to be chilled out. Everybody needs to be a bit more responsible. I think the parents too, there have been several occasions where it's only about, you see, it's very obvious that it's simply about, caste and you must marry one of our relatives. Yeah, right. Like all of the intelligent DNA is locked in there. In that gene pool. It's just like a gene pool of inbreds. Right, so this thing that you must marry a relative or you must marry this, a lot of this still goes on here in the UK anyway. And I think that's nonsensical, and people stop relationships from occurring just based on that. Sometimes based on race, sometimes just based on other things. So I think that element is there. On the other hand, or the flip side, is that I think girls too, and guys, but perhaps more so sometimes to girls, I don't know if that's coming across sexist, but I think they do need to be sensible as well, and kind of see sometimes they are being misled, and they are being kind of, so you'll see cases where somebody will, for example, and these are cases I've actually heard of, that, for example, a person will insist that I want to marry this guy. The family are concerned because the guy is doesn't even have a visa to live in this country. He's just here as let's say a student. Now, they're pretty certain he's only doing this to get a visa and to get a passport. Now, the girl, you see, what I'm trying to say is we got to be sometimes real in this world. Okay, that probably, I don't know intentions, but most likely that may be pretty much the case. That may be, right? That sounds pretty much how the world works. Now, I'm not saying that means that has to be wrong, and that just because somebody wants a visa, they have to be a bad person. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, as long as any relationship that you embark on, do so willfully, but also with insight. That as long as you know that, then you take the risks yourself, with knowledge. You are conscientious of the risks that you are taking. Like, if you know that risk, like you think, look, I accept this person is here. The world does work as based on opportunism. Almost everybody is an opportunist to some extent. Now that's no different. One could argue that, look, you only like people only like. They could say, well, this man, for example, only wants to marry that woman just because she happens to be so beautiful. If she wasn't so beautiful, you think he would be marrying her, and that is true in most cases. I'm sure that's so. Everybody is in it for themselves, for something. That's there's no denying that. But as long as people are aware now, so in this kind of a case, that let's say the guy is only here as a student, is on some student visa, his visa's about to expire, and he tells this girl, oh my god, I'm so madly in love with you. This so conveniently in love with you, just as my visa's about to expire. My love has intensified. So now he says, look, I wanna marry you, I wanna stay here with you. So her family are rightly concerned. I mean, I would be concerned if somebody that was related to me, or somebody I knew, let's say, dearly, that was in such a situation where they say, now I found the love of my life who has 1 week left on his visa. I would say, oh, how rather convenient. So now, look, because we know how the world works. Everybody knows how the world works to some extent. So, okay, now if the girl really wants to do something like that, wants to take that risk, I mean, you can understand why the parents would be against it. You can understand that. But if she still wants to, I would say she has the free will and free choice to do so. But she should do so knowing the risks. So let's say he does disappear 1 year down the line, once he's got his visa. At least she took that risk knowing the risk. Like she said, well, okay, there was a chance, there was a risk that might happen, and it did. So as opposed to her being just so immersed in, let's say, in just this lovey-dovey kind of bubble, and everything with Bollywood songs just playing and everything in slow motion. Tujhe dekha. So it's all these, she's in some field and Shah Rukh Khan is there doing the pose, and if that's all she's thinking, then she might be in for a very disturbing time. So the parents' concerns are justified. Okay, they are justified on several occasions. On some occasions, they're not. So on some occasions, like I said, the parents are objecting to just stupid things. They're just objecting to things like, oh, he's not from this caste, oh, he's not, I don't know, like, I don't like his dad, I don't like, I don't know, just stupid stuff. Or we want you to marry just in the family, or we want this. And sometimes they have decent concerns, like, how is he going to actually provide for the family? And I think girls and guys need to think about that before you get married. Look, I know, people say all I need is love. And that's, I'm sure that's true for a few hours. or a whole day and a night. And then after that, and then after so many, there's only so many sessions of, so many episodes of romance and love, after which a person gets hungry. And they think, right, I need to... Imran Khan said, a few minutes later, the narrator says, precisely 1 minute and 33 seconds later, he's like, well, oh, that was fun, was right? So there's only so much until a person and then hunger kicks in, and a person, you know, you've got to eat and you've got to live, and you need shelter and you need amenities in life, and you need these things. So look, don't be so dramatic on this whole this lovey-dovey thing, because people can get into that. By all means, do the romance, I'm not against romance, but what I'm saying is be pragmatic as well, and practical, and be realists as well, that look, okay, if I do get married, how are we going to live? What is the quality of living? Because I'm telling you, people say money does not buy happiness. People say that. Arguably, that may be true. That may, key emphasis, may. Arguably, that may be true. But I tell you, poverty sure as hell doesn't. If money doesn't buy happiness, poverty sure as hell definitely doesn't buy it. And I'd rather be unhappy and rich than unhappy and poor. Cheers to that, people. So, my point is that, look, trust me, problems, because I've heard of so many stories, and I say stories, but they're real relationships, that have gone out the window because of financial difficulties, that had of their circumstances been different, that maybe things would have been different. If people didn't have to fight over, not having money to pay the bills, or not being able to buy certain foods, or not being able to, then maybe they true, it doesn't mean that they wouldn't have fought over anything else. You may fight over other things, and you probably will fight over other things. People will annoy each other just as much, I'm sure, but at least there's a greater chance, I'm just saying, that because these things, you see, just remember the hierarchy of needs, people. Okay, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, just remember that. And that's all I'm saying. So my advice is that think these things through, people. Just think them through. And to girls as well. So girls who are embarking on relationships and they think they found the love of their life, right? Men are dogs. I'll just admit to that and tell you that is the truth. Okay, so I'm not saying that the guy you found is a dog, but probably. So just brace yourself, make sure everything is fine, know the risks, and then embark upon your journey. Embark upon your journey. Yeah, see, like Riz is saying, rather cry in a Mercedes than on a bike. Hell yeah. Right, so what else? What else, people? What